श्रीशैलेश दयापात्रं धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवं यतीन्द्रप्रवणं वन्दे रम्यजामातरं मुनिं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुग्म व्यामोहदस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये माता पिता युवदयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्बगुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वयभट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् மென்னடை அன்னம் பறந்து விளையாடும் வில்லிபுத்தூர் உறைவாந்தன் பொன்னடி காண்பதோர் ஆசையினால் என் பொறுகையர் கண்ணினை துஞ்சா இந்நடிசிலுடு பாலமுது ஊட்டி எடுத்த என் கோலக் கிளியை உன்னொடு தோழமை கொள்ளுவன் குயிலே உலகளந்தான் வரக்கூவாய் ஆழ்வார்கள் வாழி அருளிச் செயல் வாழி தாழ்வாதுமில் குறவர் தாம் வாழி ஏழ்பாறு முய்ய அவர்கள் உரைத்தவைகள் தாம் வாழி செய்யமறை தன்னுடனே சேர்ந்து श्री गर्गवंश कलचार्णव पूर्णचंद्रम श्री वेंकटार्य गुरुवर्य दनूजरत्नम तस्मात् अवाप्त निगमांत रहस्यजालम श्रीमत्स्थलेशय गुरुम सततम भजामि. Srimanarayana, out of his compassion, out of his immense compassion, comes and offers his seva in many places. The Vigraha form that he takes is called Archa, the form that is found in temples and in homes where he enjoys the Tirvaradhanam offered by his devotees. The temples where the Arvars have done Mangalasasanams are called Divya Desams, and we have been enjoying the glory of these Divya Desams for the past few months. Today we are going to enjoy the glory of this kshetram called Srivilliputhur. Now, there are a few reasons why we are going to enjoy Srivilliputhur today and not another Divya Desam. Number one, it is the birthplace of Andal. Andal was born in the month of Adi, which is the current month, in the nakshatram of Puram. We call that day Thiru Adi Puram, Thiruvadi Puram. We just celebrated this glorious day of Thiruvadi Puram just 2 days ago. Manavala Mamunigal in his Upadesa Ratnamalai says, Inno Thiruvadi Puram Yamakkagavanno Ingandal Avadarittal Kundrada Varvana Vaikundavan Pogantana Igarnde Alvar Tirumagalarai. So it is very apt to enjoy Srivilliputhur today. But there is also another reason. We all know that Andal is the daughter of Periyalvar. Now the Thirunakshatram of Periyalvar is in the month of Ani in the star of Swati. It is just the preceding month. We celebrated Periyalvar's Thirunakshatram last month. Given that Periyalvar and Andal have taken Thiru Avataram in these consecutive months of Ani and Adi, that makes Srivilliputhur the unquestionable choice for today's Divya Desam series, Upanyasam. If asked to speak about Srivilliputhur, one can easily finish. There's nothing more to be said. You can just do it in one word, Andal. End of story. Okay, now you may say, no, that's disappointing. How about we double it? How about we use 2 words? Of course, 2 words can describe Srivilliputhur. Andal, Periyalvar. End of story. But then, the reason why we enjoy these Divya Desams is Bodhayanta Parasparam. As Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. That is, his devotees always talk about him and his pastimes. That's how they spend their time. So we will also attempt to spend our time talking about Andal, Periyalvar, of course Krishna, and the Divya Desam called Srivilliputhur. So Srivilliputhur is in the southern part of Tamil Nadu. It's roughly about an hour from the city of Madurai. And the presiding deity here is Vatapatrasai and Rangamanar. The name Vatapatrasai means that one who reclines on a banyan leaf. It is said that this place is also called Varaha Kshetram. So once upon a time, there were two people called Villi and Kandan who were of hunter origins. They were brothers and they ruled a portion of this place. Once they went for hunting and the younger brother Kandan was killed by a tiger. The older brother Villi did not know about that and he looked for Kandan everywhere. Eventually, out of tiredness, he fell asleep. And Sriman Narayana came in his dreams and informed him of what happened to Kandan and instructed Villi to clear the forest and create a town and bring in good people, good learned brahmanas, and make them serve there. So the temple itself was constructed by Villi. Later, it was Periyarvar who constructed the Raja Gopuram. This Gopuram is of special significance. You cannot find any dolls, any statues of other deities on the Gopuram. And it is the Gopuram that is the emblem of the Tamil Nadu government. Now a little bit about Periyarvar. So Periyarvar used to perform Kainkaryams to Lord Vatapatrasai here and used to spend his time. Then he came upon and he happened to hear the story of Krishna and Balarama going to Mathura, Akrura taking them to Mathura upon Kamsa's orders. He learns this from Vishnu Puranam, Sri Vishnu Puranam, and it is said that Krishna, he leaves the wide streets of Mathura and chooses to take the smaller lanes, and he finds a flower garland seller and asks for a garland to be made. The garland seller is astonished. He's astonished by the compassion, by the kripa and the saulabhyam that Krishna shows. He immediately recognizes Krishna as the one who is full of paratvam, who is the supreme personality of Godhead. Yet it is out of their compassion that Krishna chose to ignore the large wide streets of Mathura and comes upon this mere flower garland maker's place. Prasada paramau natau mamageha mupagatau. That is, he comes all the way mamageha mupagatau to this flower garland maker's house. So the garland maker makes a garland and offers to Krishna. Upon hearing this, Periyarvar comes to know that it is this Kainkaryam, there is Pushpa Kainkaryam. Krishna is so fond of flowers, and if you make flower garlands and offer to Krishna, that will make him really, really happy. So he chooses to perform this Pushpa Kainkaryam. So he constructs a Nandavanam, or a garden, a flower garden, and he makes a lot of flower garlands and he sends them to Vatapatrasai and offers to Vatapatrasai. Over the course of time, the king of the Pandya king in that place comes over, and he is on his way one of the days in the nights, and he comes upon a Brahmana who has traveled wide and far and was resting. So the king asks the person, "Who are you? Where are you from?" The person says, "I'm a Brahmana. I was on a pilgrimage to the north and I'm on my way back home now." So the king asks, "Since you've traveled wide and far, give me some words of wisdom." To which the Brahmana replies that one should acquire the wealth that is needed for the winters, for the autumn season in the summers. Similarly, one should acquire what is needed for the afterlife while you're still in this Janma. The king is intrigued and asks for, and goes back to his palace and reflects upon it. Then he asks for an explanation to his Prohita, his advisor, his religious advisor, a person called Selvanambi. Selvanambi instructs that why don't we arrange for a sadas where we'll invite all of the scholars and ask them to come and establish the Paratattvam. And whoever establishes the Paratattvam will be rewarded by a porkiri or a bag of gold. And the bag of gold would fall automatically. Nobody has to do it. It'll be tied up. And when the Paratva Nirnayam is done, the bag of gold will fall down automatically. So Sriman Narayana comes in Vishnu Chitta's dreams and asks Vishnu Chitta to go to the Pandya king's palace and establish his supremacy. But Vishnu Chitta does not want to go. He says, I am a mere Brahmana. I don't know any of these knowledge that is acquired from the Vedas or such. So he instructs, so he refuses. Vishnu Chitta refuses. To which Sriman Narayana says, you just go there. I will take care of you. So Vishnu Chitta goes, and then the words of wisdom, the Paratvam, or the establishing the supremacy of Sriman Narayana, that just comes out of his mouth. And when that happens, the bag of gold drops down, establishing that it is him it is Vishnu Chitta who's the winner. So Vishnu Chitta takes that bag of gold, and the king, the name of the king is King Vallabhadevan. So he sends Vishnu Chitta back on an elephant in a big procession. So when Vishnu Chitta is on his way, when he is coming, the Lord Sriman Narayana wants to see him. He is so eager to see Vishnu Chitta coming. So he comes with his consorts, Sri Devi and Bhudevi, on the mighty Garuda to see Vishnu Chitta. Vishnu Chitta sees that and he is very, very worried. He's worried as to what will happen to the Lord. The Supreme Lord has left his abode and he is here in this Kali Yuga. So he's very worried. So he starts doing Mangala Sasanam. Pallandu, Pallandu, Pallayiratandu, Palakodi Nurayiram, Mallanda Tindol Manivanna, Un Sevadi Sevi Tirukkapu. Adiyomodum Ninnodum Pirivinni Ayiram Pallandu, Vadivaai Nin Valamarvinil Varginna Mangayum Pallandu, Vadivar Sodi Valatturayum Sudarariyum Pallandu, Padaipor Pukkumurangum Appancha Sanniyamum Pallande. So, Vishnu Chitta had immense compassion for the Lord. He was afraid what will happen to the Lord. He forgot that it is the Lord who is the protector. And he forgot that he had established the supremacy of this Lord just a few minutes ago. And he sings out of compassion. Manavala Mamunigal describes this as Pongum Parivu. So, from then on, Vishnu Chitta gets the name Periyarvar. Now, to his dear daughter, Andal. So, he comes back to Srivilliputhur. He constructs this large Gopuram and he's spending his time performing Pushpa Kainkaryam to Vatapatra Sai. One day he finds a little baby girl by the Tulasi plant in the temple. So he does not find any takers. So he decides that it is a blessing. It is the prasadam of Perumal to him. and he takes the baby and raises her as his own. He names her Kodai. He teaches her all the stories of Krishna. This Kodai is none other than Bhumi Devi herself. The demon Hiranyaksha, he takes the world, and this happened not in the Kali Yuga, but in the Krita Yuga. So at that time, when Varaha Swami, when he rescued Bhuma Devi asked him, he gave her a lot of Upadesams. So Bhuma Devi asked him, "Hey Swami, Devarir has rescued me, but our children are suffering in this world. What is the message? What is the Upadesam you have for them?" And he gives a lot of Upadesams, the essence of which is to serve him with all three karanams, that is Mano Vakayam, that is Vayinal Padi, Manathinal Sindittu, Thumalar Thuvitturdu. So if we serve him with flowers, with singing his glories, and with his smaranam, with his thoughts, then all the vinays or all the papams that we have accumulated in so many janmas that we have taken will be vanished. Not only the papams that we've taken in the previous janmas, but even the ones that we will accumulate in the current janma will vanish like the dust that goes and hits the fire. It'll become just ash like that. So Bhuma Devi takes reincarnation as Andal and gives us these Upadesams in the form of Tirupavai. So the glory of Srivilliputhur is that it gave us these two, Periyalvar and Andal. Manavala Mamunigal in Upadesa Ratnamalai says, Sirarum Villiputtur. That is, Srivilliputhur is very opulent. It's opulent because it has the pun and the money, that is the gold and the ratnam, the gem. The gold is Andal because she is the Kovalartham Porkodi. And the money is Periyalvar. So Srivilliputhur is very opulent. Both Andal and Periyalvar have offered one pasuram each to Vatapatrasai here. We will take a brief look at those pasurams. First, Periyalvar's pasuram. மின்னனே நுண்ணிடையார் விரிகுழல் மேல் நுழைந்த வண்டு இன்னிசைக்கும் வில்லிபுத்தூர் இனிதமர்ந்தாய் உன்னைக் கண்டார் என்ன நோன்பு நோற்றாள்களோ இவனைப் பெற்ற வயிறுடையாள் என்னும் வார்த்தை எய்துவித்த இருடீகேசா முலையுணாயே. Periyalvar, out of his compassion for Perumal, got the name Periyalvar. We saw that. So when he is performing Mangala Sasanams, he assumes the form of Yashoda. He assumes that he is the mother and Sriman Narayana is Krishna, is his child, her child, Yashoda's child. He assumes the form of Yashoda and enjoys all of the stages that a little child goes through. So in this Pasuram, in this decade, he enjoys the stage where the little baby is drinking milk from the mother. So in here he says, மின்னனைய நுண்ணிடையார் விரிகுழல் மேல் நுழைந்த வண்டு இன்னிசைக்கும் வில்லிபுத்தூர். That is, he talks about Srivilliputhur. He says the people here, they are slender, like slender waisted, like that of a lightning. So such beautiful ladies, they wear a lot of flowers on their hair, and the bees, they suck the nectar from those flowers and they are intoxicated by the nectar, and they sing and they compose music, really good music. And that is where, and in such Srivilliputhur lies the Vadapatrasai Empirman. So what is said here is that Srivilliputhur is a happy place where Lord Sriman Narayana comes out of his own wish and he resides here. The reason being, when he is in Sri Vaikuntham, there people are really good. That is the Mukta Jivat, Muktas and the Nitya Suris, they are in service of him, and he is unable to show his Kalyana Gunams there. Instead, here he can come and he can exhibit his Kalyana Gunams. So in such place called Srivilliputhur, the Empirman resides. Now here, in the second half of this Pasuram, Periyarvar says, என்ன நோன்பு நோற்றாள்களோ இவனை பெற்ற வயிறுடையாள், உன்னை கண்டார் என்ன நோன்பு நோற்றாள்களோ இவனை பெற்ற வயிறுடையாள் என்னும் வார்த்தை எய்துவித்த இருடீகேசா முலையுனாயே. That is, once you've had a darshan, sevai of Vadapatrasai, they will be blessed with very devoted children. It is not like the children of this materialistic world, but children that have good qualities and are devoted to Sriman Narayana. The other meaning is that since he is in the Yashoda Bhavam, he says, O Krishna, you have come and taken birth in my womb, right? And what grace is that? So the people around me of this world, they will say, oh, such special, with such vilakshanamana gunams, that baby has come out of her. So such perimai has been given to Yashoda, who Periyarvar is assuming himself to be. So that glory was bestowed by Rishikesha, Irudikesha. That is Periyarvar's Anubhavam of Srivilliputhur Empirman. Next, for Andal's Anubhavam, she says, மென்னடை அன்னம் பறந்து விளையாடும் வில்லிபுத்தூர் உறைவாந்தன் பொன்னடி காண்பதோர் ஆசையினால் என் பொருகையர் கண்ணினை துஞ்சா இந்நடிசிலோடு பாலமுது ஊட்டி எடுத்த என் கோலக்கிளியை உன்னொடு தோழமை கொள்ளுவன் குயிலே உலகளந்தான் வரக்கூவாய். Andal is calling out for the koil, and she asks of the koil to coo and ask for the Lord to come. So she says, when she talks about the glory of Srivilliputhur, she says, Mennadai annam parandu vilayadum. That is, the swans here, this place is filled with beautiful swans. The swans are known for their walk. So it is said that the females, right, or the ladies, the beautiful ladies, when they walk, it resembles that of a swan. But it is also said that the ladies, they walk so beautifully that the swans would actually try to replicate them. Okay, so such swans are here a lot. And Andal says they are Sajatiyas because they walk like her. They have the beauty just like her when they walk. So here, the Lord Vadapatrasai resides. And she also says a similar thing. She says, in the Paramapadam or in the Sri Vaikuntham, the Lord is with the Nitya Suris. But he ignores that and he comes here because he wants to enjoy Andal and these swans, and he wants to spend his time here in this place. So such Srivilliputhur, so Andal says, Villiputtur Uraivantan Ponnadi Kanbador Asayinal. She longs to see the Tiruvadi, the lotus feet of Vadapatrasai Emperman. Yen Purugayar Kandinai Tunja. That is, she says she cannot sleep. So our acharyas have asked a question here. When she sang Tirupavai, of course, she assumed herself to be a Gopika, and she assumed that she was somewhere that she was not able to get to Vrindavana. But here, it is Srivilliputhur. She is in Srivilliputhur. So what is stopping her from going and having a sevai of Vadapatrasai? So the answer that is given by our acharyas is that because she is so madly in love with Vadapatrasai, the people, the elders, they believe that if she goes to the temple, she'll not be able to bear the joy. She'll be overjoyed, and the overjoy can be a cause of losing her. So they stop her from going there. They've created ways, and they somehow prevent her from going and having a sevai of Vadapatrasai. And that is the reason why she laments and she longs to have the sevai of Vadapatrasai. So she says, if I am able to have the darshan, the sevai of Vadapatrasai, then she will let her kili, her parrot, befriend the Emperman. Now you may ask, what is so special about it? What is so special about befriending a parrot? It is said that, see, when you are in need of something, that's when you will go and try to find that thing, right? To fulfill that void in your life. The parrot here is very, very friendly. It's subservient to Andal, and all the needs of the parrots are met by the relationship the parrot has with Andal. So there is no need for the parrot to go elsewhere. So it is such parrot that Andal will get to befriend with Sriman Narayana. The inner meaning is that, so she is asking the quail, right? She's asking the quail to coo. So it is said that the quail is synonymous with Acharya. So she will serve the Acharya with all her belongings. The parrot is a belonging here. It belongs to her. So one should serve an Acharya with everything that you own. That is the inner meaning here. Now for a very quick touch up on Tirupavai. So Andal, she is separated from Krishna, and she longs to go and be united with Krishna. So the elders, they tell her the story of how the Gopikas, they acted like Krishna. So after the Rasa Krida was over, Krishna separates from them because he thinks that if he is there, then the Gopikas will be overjoyed and they cannot bear that overjoy and he may lose them. So he just, in order to give them a little bit of sadness and distress, he separates from them. So once he separates from them, the Gopikas, they act like him, they sing like him, and that's how they bear their lives. So the elders say, perhaps you should also do that. So then Andal decides, okay, instead of doing what, instead of enacting Krishna like the Gopikas did, she would instead enact the Gopikas who are the devotees and who are dear to Krishna. So the Gopikas observed a vratam called the Katyayani vratam. So she enacts that she observes the vratam. So it is to be noted here that Andal did not observe the vratam. She just enacts the act of observing the vratam. That is, she just assumes it. It is said that she went through this thing called, she went through what is called Bhavana Prahasham. That is, she was so involved with what happened in Tiruvaipadi that she assumed the form of a gopika. She tied up her hair like a gopika. She even started smelling of butter and dairy like gopikas. She assumes that the Srivilliputhur itself is Aipadi, and the palace of Nandagopa in Aipadi is nothing but the temple of Vadapatra Sai, and all of the gopikas in Aipadi are her friends in Srivilliputhur. And she composes the Tirupavai. She shows us that one should always go to Perumal, to Sriman Narayana, with others. Take them all. She goes and invites all her other Gopika friends and takes them with her when she goes and surrenders to Krishna. Tirupavai is said that it is the Vedam Anaithukkum Vittu. The glory of her father Periyarvar's work is that it is like the Pranavam in Vedam. Vedam starts and ends with Pranavam. Likewise, we start and end with Tirupallandu in all our Seva columns. Vedam Anaithukkum Vittu is Tirupallandu. So it is this Srivilliputhur Divya Desam, because of which we have Andal and Periyarvar, and we have Tirupallandu and Tirupavai. Now for some of the Utsavams that happen here. The Tirunakshatra Mahotsavam of Periyarvar is celebrated very well here. And then in the month of Adi, the Tiruvadi Pura Mahotsavam is celebrated. On the 5th day of this Brahmotsavam, of this Utsavam, of the Tiruvadi Pura Utsavam, we can have the Sevai of 5 Empermans in Garuda Sevai. It's called Pancha Garuda Sevai. அஞ்சாவது நாள் பஞ்சகருட சேவை இங்கே பெருமாள் நமக்கு சாதிக்கிறார். So the 5 Empermans who give us the Seva in Garuda are the deity of the Kshetram, that is Lord Vadapatra Sai, Periya Perumal. He is called Periya Perumal. And then Rangamannar. And then nearby Divya Desam is called Tiruthangal. Tiruthangalappan comes from Tiruthangal. He comes with great pomp and festivity. And then there is a Kattalagar, Sundaraja Perumal from Kattalagar, from a nearby place. He comes in Garuda Seva and offers us Garuda Seva. And there is a nearby mountain called Thiruvannamalai. And Srinivasa Perumal in Thiruvannamalai also comes and offers his Garuda Seva here. So all of these 5 Empermans give us Seva in Garuda Seva. And Periyarvar and Andal, they give us their Seva on the Hamsa Vahanam. So first Periyarvar will come out of the temple, followed by these Empermans. And then Andal will come at the end. So this festival happens in the night. It starts maybe around 8-9 o'clock, and the streets are filled with people. The streets are filled with so many people, each calling out for Andal, singing bhajans in the name of Kodai, and doing kummi and singing her glories. One has to witness that in person. It is vacha magocharam. It cannot be explained in mere words. So after each Perumal comes out of the Devasthanam, out of the temple, the doors are closed, and then the next Emperman comes. Devotees throng for this Seva. It probably takes all night, And then they return back to the temple around, let's say, 2 a.m. or so in the morning. And then, as the Emperumans get ready to leave, Periyalvar gives them Piriya Vidai. He does Mangala Sasanam for each Emperuman, and Andal gives Bahumanam. And then the Emperumans depart for their places. This happens on the 5th day. On the 7th night, the Andal Sayana Seva happens, where Rangamannar gives his seva by lying on Andal's lap. Again, that is a seva that one should not miss in their lifetime and cannot be explained in mere words. The Tiruvadipura Mahotsavam is so grandly celebrated here. On the 9th day is the Tiruther Utsavam, the Ratha festival. You can see devotees thronging the streets, dancing, singing, in joy, in glory, in praises of Goda and Rangamannar here. Everything is Goda here. And then in the month of Puratasi, the Brahmotsavam for Periya Perumal happens. And then in the month of Margari is synonymous with Andal. Towards the end of Margari, the Neeratta Utsavam happens. And then in the month of Panguni, the Panguni Uttram festival is celebrated. And the Andal Thirukalyanam happens in the month of Panguni Uttram. One cannot conclude anything about Srivilliputhur or about Andal without talking about Swami Ramanuja. Andal offers 108 servings or tada of Vennai and Akkara Vadisal to Thirumalarunjolai Emperuman, Sundarat Toludayan. But then she gets married to Ranganatha much before she can fulfill that wish. So Swami Ramanuja takes upon himself to fulfill that wish, and he offers that to Sundarat Toludayan in Thirumalarunjolai. He completes that Kainkaryam there, and then in his pilgrimage he comes to Srivilliputhur, and Andal is overjoyed that he fulfilled her wish, and it is said that she comes out of her deity, she comes out of the sanctum a few steps forward and calls him Anna. That's why Ramanuja is called Godagrajar. And in Andal's Vadi Tirunamam, we say, Perumbudur Mamunikku Pinnanal Vadiye. That is one who follows, or one who is the sister, the younger one of the Perumbudur Mamuni, who is Swami Ramanuja. Swami Ramanuja's Sishya Anantarvan, when he visited Srivilliputhur, he goes to this tank, the Pushkarini, which is called Tirumukulam, and he takes a dip, and then he searches for something there. He repeatedly searches for something but is unable to find it. When he was asked what he was searching for, he says that he was hoping to find the piece of turmeric that Andal and her friends would have used when they used to take their dip in this Tirumukulam. Such was Anantarvan's devotion to Andal. He composed the Goda Chatusloki. Vedantacharyar, popularly known as Swami Desikan, composed the Goda Stuti on Andal. Swami Manavala Mamunigal, he wished to come here during the time of the Margari Neeratta Utsavam, and he happened to come one day late. But Andal, out of her compassion, extended the last day for him, of the seva for him. So the last day is called Periyajiyar Tirunal. If one gets the bhagyam to perform any service to Goda and Periyalvar and Rangamannar and Vattapatra Sai in this Divya Desam, There is nothing more that one can wish for. With that, Adiyan concludes today's lecture, and thanks everyone for patiently listening. Srimatyai Vishnu Chittarya Manonandana Hetave Nandanandana Sundaryai Godayai Nityamangalam. திருவாடி பூரத்து ஜெகத்துதித்தாள் வாழியே, திருப்பாவை 30 செப்பினாள் வாழியே, பெரியாழ்வார் பெற்றெடுத்த பெண் பிள்ளை வாழியே, பெரும்பூதூர் மாமுனிக்குப் பின்னானாள் வாழியே, 143 உரைத்தாள் வாழியே, உயர் அரங்கற்கே கண்ணி உகந்தளித்தாள் வாழியே, மறுவாரும் திருமல்லி வளநாடி வாழியே, வன்புதுவை நகர்கோதை மலர்ப்பதங்கள் வாழியே. ஆண்டாள் திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம்.